Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Bella. Today is the fourth video in my series, Foundations of Vinyasa Yoga. So we've practiced our Ujjayi Pranayama, our Sun Salutation A, and our Chaturanga Dandasana. So today I wanted to put together a beginner, gentle Vinyasa flow. That way we can kind of start to put all the pieces together of Vinyasa Yoga. So all you're going to need today is your mats. Hop into something cozy and let's get started.
Hey, I'm Bella, and welcome to your yoga class. I'm so happy you made it here. So coming onto your mats, in a nice gentle seat, start to ground down into the seat below you. Feeling your sits bones making contact with the earth. Hands can come onto your knees if that's comfortable. Sitting up nice and tall, creating some space, allowing that breath to enter the lungs freely. Do a little body scan here, just noticing where you're at. Sensations in the body, maybe some stress and tension. Breathing into those areas. Finding your Ujjayi Pranayama, so sealing your lips. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Deep inhale through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, arms come up to the sky. Exhale, drawing them to your heart space, bowing your head down for a nice stretch in the back of the neck, setting your intention here. So whatever you want to cultivate during practice today, something you can come back to. Inhale, arms come up to the sky. And exhale, right arm tripods out behind you, left arm comes to right knee for a nice seated twist. Gaze can come out behind you. Finding an openness and a twist through the heart space. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the nose. And slowly coming back to center. Same thing, second side. Inhale, arms come up to the sky. Exhale, left arm comes out behind you. Right arm comes to left knee. Gaze comes out behind that left shoulder. Or maybe even out to the side, whatever's comfortable. And on an exhale, seeing if we can deepen into the stretch just a little bit more. And when you're ready, meeting me back in neutral. We're going to find some openness through the chest here. So drawing the hands behind our backs. Opening up through the shoulders. Gaze can come up to the sky. Breathing into the heart space. Shining our hearts forward. Breathing here. And softly lowering our head down, coming back to center. Inhale, right arm comes up and over, drawing our right ear down to our right shoulder, finding that nice stretch through the left shoulder trap area. Finding a gentle stretch here, so rather than using force, just allow yourself to breathe into the stretch. And exhale, coming back to center. Same thing, second side. So left arm comes up and over, drawing our left ear down to our left shoulder. Dropping that right shoulder down away from the ear, allowing that stretch to open. Breathing in and out through the nose. And slowly drawing your head back up to center. Hand comes down. Big inhale. Arms come up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart. Now, if you're facing the front of your mat, stay here. I'm just going to switch positions so you can see me a little bit easier. Shifting our weights forward, And sending our hips back for child's pose. Stretching our arms out long in front of us, finding engagement through those fingertips. Sending our weight back onto our heels. So finding an active and engaged stretch through the entire back body. Forehead can rest on the mat here. This is a great place to come whenever you need a little rest during practice. Child's pose, or maybe balasana, arms come out on either side. Head can rock from side to side, giving yourself a little massage. And if you're in child's pose, maybe coming over to the left a little bit. So inching our arms over to the left, breathing into that right side body, feeling that nice stretch in the right rib cage. Coming back to center here and over to the right. Breathing into that left side body, feeling an openness through the left rib cage. And when you're ready, meeting me back in center. Lifting back up onto our heels. And then coming into all fours. So shoulders tracking over elbows, hips tracking over knees. So shoulders over elbows, elbows over palms, right? Elbows over wrists. So we're in line. Feet can press into the tops of the mat. For cat-cow, so inhale, gaze comes up, belly drops. Tail to the sky. Exhale, rounding through our spine, dropping our chin for cat, pressing that mat away from our palms. Inhale, drop the belly, chest comes forward, gaze to the sky for cow. And exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the chin for cat. Now flowing here at your own pace, synchronizing your breath with your movements. So on every exhale, rounding the spine, pressing that mat away from us. And inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the chest, tail to the sky, gaze comes up. Exhale, rounding down. Maybe you come into a child's pose. Just playing around with it here, finding organic fluid movements. So whatever you're needing in your cat-cow, taking whatever expression of this pose feels good. So letting it feel good. That's what this class is all about today. And when you're ready, tucking your toes, sending your hips up and back for our first downward dog of practice. So spreading wide through the palms, shoulder blades broaden across our back, sending our hips up and back to the sky. Maybe you want to take a nice bend in the knees here. Pedaling out your dog. Gaze can come between your feet. Feeling a nice engagement through the arms, letting our heels sink down to the mat. And on an inhale, lifting that right leg up to the sky. Exhale, stepping it through between our hands, planting that left foot, that left heel down to the mat. Inhale, get rooted and rise up into our warrior one. So pelvis is neutral, facing the front of the mat, engaging through that back leg. Bending into our right knee, right? So right knee tracks over ankle. Pulling that right hip back a little bit. Arms can come up to the sky, maybe out in a T, or even in a bind behind you. Taking whatever variation feels good. And exhale, opening up into warrior two. Pelvis faces that top left corner of our mat. Imagine one long line pulling our arms out on either side of us. Big inhale through the nose. And exhale, reversing your warrior. Right arm comes up and over, left arm comes down to the back thigh. And exhale, extended side angle, right arm comes to that right thigh. Making sure we don't dump all of our weight into that right thigh. So checking in here. Making space through the spine. Left arm comes up and overhead. And exhale, cartwheeling our hands down to the mats. Stepping our right foot back to meet our left for downward facing dog. Same thing, second side. So inhale, left leg comes up to the sky. Exhale, stepping it through between the hands. Right heel reaches the mat. As we inhale to lift, grounding through that left foot for a warrior one. Left knee tracks over left ankle. Pelvis is neutral, facing the front of the mat, drawing that left hip back. Finding length through the spine. Maybe arms come out to a T or in a bind behind you. Breathing here. And exhale, opening up into warrior two. Pelvis faces that top right corner of the mat. Big inhale and exhale to reverse your warrior. Left arm comes up and overhead. And exhale, extended side angle. Left forearm to left thigh, making sure we don't dump our weight here. Left knee over left ankle. Finding space. And when you're ready, cartwheeling your hands down to the mats, stepping our left foot back to meet our right for downward facing dog. Inhale, sending our weight forward for chaturanga, flowing through our vinyasa. Exhale, lowering down, untucking the toes, sending our hearts forward for upward facing dog. And exhale with the core, drawing our hips up and back for downward facing dog. Breathing here. Inhale, right leg comes up to the sky. Exhale, stepping it through, letting that left heel reach the mat for warrior one. So we're going to flow through this one more time. Pelvis is neutral, facing the front of the mats. Finding space and length through the spine. Arms come up and overhead, bending into that right knee. Give your right toes a little wiggle. Exhale, finding whatever variation feels good. So maybe hands out behind you in a bind, maybe in a T. And when you're ready, exhaling into warrior two. Finding space, right? So lengthening through the arms. And exhale, reversing your warrior. Right arm comes up and overhead. And exhale, extended side angle, right arm to right thigh. Making sure we're not collapsing here. Finding lift through the chest. And exhale, back to warrior two. Cartwheeling your hands down to meet the mat. Stepping that right foot back to meet the left for downward facing dog. Pedaling out your dog here. Inhale, left leg comes up to the sky. Exhale, stepping it through, lowering that back heel down for warrior one on the second side. Pelvis is neutral, drawing that left hip back a little bit. Breathing here. Finding some space. Maybe a bind. Back legs engaged, bending into that left knee. Knee tracks over ankle. Maybe your hands come to prayer. Big inhale and exhale, opening up into warrior two. Pelvis faces the top right corner of the mat, engaging through the back leg. Energy drawing out from our fingertips. And exhaling, reversing our warrior. And extended side angle. Left forearm comes to left thigh. Checking in here, making sure we're not dumping our weight. And when you're ready, coming back to warrior two, cartwheeling the hands down, pressing that left foot back to meet our right for downward facing dog. Breathing here, flowing through a vinyasa. So sending our weight forward, lowering down at a 90-degree angle of the elbows, untucking the toes and sending our hearts forward for upward facing dog. And exhale, engaging with the core, sending our hips up and back for downward facing dog. Breathing into the nose, out through the nose. Inhale, right leg comes up to the sky. Exhale, stepping it outside of our right palm, lowering that back left knee down to the mat. Coming up onto our fingertips. Maybe our right hand comes to our right knee for a nice little twist here. This is lizard pose. Play around here. Maybe you want to tuck your back left toes or let them relax out long. Whatever feels good. If you have a block available, maybe coming down onto your forearms, seeing how that feels, opening into that right hip. Maybe you untuck your toes, just finding some space here. So whatever variation feels good. And when you're ready, lifting that back left knee off the mat, stepping the right foot back to meet the left, downward facing dog. Same thing, second side, left leg, inhale, steps outside of our left palm, dropping that back right knee down to the mat. Maybe your left hand comes onto your left knee for a nice little twist. Gaze can come up, feeling into that outer left glute, feeling a nice stretch through the glute. Maybe you want to use your block here, playing around with that back foot, feeling whatever variation feels good. Coming up onto the palms, maybe down onto the forearms. And when you're ready, lifting that back right knee off the mat, stepping our left foot back to meet our right for downward facing dog. Breathing here, sending our weights forward. We're going to flow through our chaturanga, lowering down, untucking the toes, and sending our hearts forward for upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Spreading wide through the palms, sending our hips up and back. And when you're ready, slowly dropping your knees down to meet the mat. Coming into child's pose. So extending our arms out long in front of us. Forehead can meet the mat. Maybe you want to come into Balasana. Just taking a moment here to rest. Breathing into the heart space. Melting down into your mat. And when you're ready, coming up onto all fours. Tracking our shoulders over our wrists, right? Inhaling, right arm comes up to the sky. Exhale, threading it through underneath the bridge of our left arm for thread the needle. Your right ear can come down to meet the mat. Maybe your right arm extends out long in front of you. So we want to send our weight into our hips. So rather than jumping forward, keeping our weight pressed back into our hips. Feeling a nice stretch into that right shoulder. Breathing here. Pressing up into our left palm. Back up to all fours. Same thing, second side. So inhale, left arm comes up to the sky. Exhale, threading underneath that right arm, letting our left ear come down to the mat. Right arm extends out long in front of us. Sending our weight back to our hips. Breathing into that left shoulder. And when you're ready, pressing into our right palm, lifting ourselves back up to all fours. We're going to come into heart to earth pose. So forearms meeting the mats, shoulder width distance apart, scooching our knees back a little bit. We're going to melt our chest, our heart space down into the mat. Your chin can come to the mat or maybe your forehead, engaging through the fingertips. Just letting your entire front body melt down into the earth. Weight comes up into the hips and slowly inching our hands towards us, coming onto our bellies and then eventually rolling over onto our backs. Breathing here, extending your legs out long and drawing your knees up into your chest. We're going to take our peace fingers, hooking them onto our big toes for happy baby pose. So playing around here, maybe rocking from side to side, giving your spine a little massage. Maybe you want to come inward, grabbing your heels with your hands, or maybe the outer edges of your feet. So finding whatever variation feels good. Spending some time in happy baby. This is one of my favorite poses. Maybe you want to play around with extending one leg out and then the other. Just kind of moving organically. Deep inhale through the nose and out through the nose. Swaying side to side. And when you're ready, letting your feet plant down onto the mat. We're going to come into supine twist. So right leg comes over the left, scooching our hips to the right a couple inches and letting our knees fall to the left a little bit. Your arms can come out into a T. And your gaze can come out to the right. Making sure our shoulder blades are in contact with the mat below us. So making contact with each shoulder. Breathing into the twist. Engaging through our core, we're going to draw our knees back up to center. Uncrossing the legs, same thing second side. So inhale, left leg comes over the right, scooching our hips to the left a little bit, and then letting our knees fall to the right. Gaze can come out to the left, arms can come out into a T. Let's get cozy here for a minute. Breathing. Engaging through the core, we're going to draw our knees back up to center. And on an inhale, drawing our knees into our chest, making yourself into a tight little ball here, getting whatever tension you need to get out, clenching the jaw. And on an exhale, we're going to let it all melt into the mat. Letting your legs come out long in front of you. Letting your shoulder blades fall comfortably underneath you. Arms can come out on either side, palms to the sky. Deep inhale through the nose and out through the nose. Coming back to your intention and letting your body just melt down into the mat. Shavasana.